everybody, it's Ian the Off-Kilter Crafter.
And it's Adam from AdamSews. And spoiler alert, I have a new pattern coming out soon, which is for a label folder to keep all your quilt labels in.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. Are you able to show it at all?
It is, I have the first prototype here.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, and then you can add extra pages in the binder when you run out of room in the page that you made first.
Oh, Adam, I'm gonna have to buy that pattern. That is, I have so many labels. That is so awesome. I love that.
Awesome.
It looks like you have 1 or 2 labels too.
Yeah, I kind of need to make another page already.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us here on the So Off Kilter podcast. Becca is on assignment this week, so it's just going to be me and Adam hanging out today, and I'm so glad that you are here today, Adam. Before we get too deep into things, let's go ahead and talk about our quilts. I've shown my quilt on the channel before, but this is the I forgot the name of it. I'm gonna put it on the screen somewhere so that way you can check it out. Uses some Juicy Juice fabric, and you've seen it on the channel before. So I'm gonna stop talking about mine, and I'm gonna let Adam show off his.
Well, mine is the 100 Acre Wood Quilt, which is an artist quilt in sew along, which was featuring Riley Blake fabrics. And I will try and hold it up as best as I can because it is a rather large quilt.
Oh, that's so cute.
And in usual style, I had to put Tula backing on it.
Of course. Everything Tula.
Yeah.
I love it. It's super cute. We'll put a picture. I'll have you send me a picture so that way we can put it up on the screen so that way everybody can see it nice and big. But that is a super cute quilt. And we just talked to Adam we just talked to John from Art East not too long ago. So that's kind of perfect timing.
Yeah. I'm super excited about the next sew along.
Yeah, that's going to be really fun. His brain is just amazing with everything that he comes up with. I really like
the way that he configures those blocks. It blows my mind.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's really neat. So I gotta get one of his patterns and work on it at some point. So
yeah.
Well, Adam, it's so wonderful that you're here today. I don't know if everybody knows who you are, so let's start off at the beginning. How in the world did you get into sewing?
So I mainly got into it through like going to high school, which we call secondary school here. We did sort of like you're the equivalent of home ec class. Throughout the year, we had to learn different sort of things. So we had to do sewing, we had to do cooking, we had to do woodwork and so on. And our school was quite good, actually. We had loads of different types of things that you could do, much more than most other schools in the area. But yeah, sewing was the thing that stuck the most. And then I got my first sewing machine for my 13th birthday, I think it was. And then I just carried on pumping out things from then onwards, pretty much.
Nice, excellent. What was the first project?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. I remember we had to make I think the first project that we ever made was a envelope back cushion cover. Vaguely remember doing something along those lines, yeah. And then I went down a rabbit hole of making loads of soft toys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I feel like that's the kind of like pathway that a lot of kids or younger people go on is it seems like there's one small, simple project and then it's like stuffed animals or something for the stuffed animals.
Yeah, like some random little jumper for them, or something.
Yeah. I made some clothes for mine. That was because mom brought out the sewing machine and as a kid I'm like, oh, that's something I want to play with that, that's kind of where I got my interest from.
Yeah, the quilting thing came a lot later. I didn't start that until sort of lockdown quilting. It was something I always wanted to do, but never kind of thought about actually having a go at because it always seemed a bit daunting. But yeah,
I think a lot of people picked up quilting during the panini and everything that happened around that time. I call it the panini because I have TikTok language kind of ingrained in my head, so that's why I call it the panini. But yeah, I think a lot of people ended up maybe not necessarily quilting, but like sewing in general. I think a lot of people picked up sewing during that time, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I think there's sort of geometry and everything like that behind. I've kind of always had quite a mathematical brain, as much as it's never really interested me. But it's amazing how much it translates into things like quilting and things.
Yeah,
and it does seem to stick. Those types of things seem to really click, and I can get my head around them.
sure, definitely. And I feel like you do a lot of things. Like the
Yeah.
chair that you're sitting in today, you've created that. You create bags all the time. You create shirts. You create quilts. You create label folders. You create a
Yeah.
lot of things across a wide section. And for me, I like quilting because it's two-dimensional. I don't have to worry about those three-dimensional pieces. So, what is your favorite thing to do? Do you like to make the two-dimensional? Do you like to make the three-dimensional? Or is it just kind of like whatever your mood is that day?
It probably is. Yeah, it's more of a what do I feel like doing on that day? Because there's some days when I've got pre-orders for customer bags and things like that that I need to do, and I just think, you know what, today's not the day when I'm focused on doing that. And I've always got quite a long time frame on customer orders and stuff like that. So if it's a
Yeah.
Wednesday and I wake up and I think, actually, do you know what, I'd rather work on a quilt pattern today, and I've got time to push that back till later that day or the next morning,
Yeah.
then I will tend to go with what I think. Otherwise, you lose the joy behind it.
Absolutely. I have tote bags that I've made that I take into the grocery store with me
Mm,
because I like to use my reusable totes instead of using the plastic bags that are there. And I've had many a cashier tell me they'll be like, "Oh, these are really awesome bags." I'm like, "Thanks, I made them myself." And they're like,
mm,
"Wait, you make these? You should sell them." And I'm like, well, then that takes all the joy out of it. Like, I made them
yeah,
for me, and I made them because I wanted to. If people started, like, ordering them, then that takes the joy out of it.
yeah.
And they're always like, "You're so good at it, you should do it." And I'm like, "No."
But that's like my neighbour. She said when I showed her the 100-acre wood quilt finished, she said, "Oh,
Yeah,
you should make like 4 or 5 of them and sell them in the craft fair up in the local town centre." And I was like, "Do you realise how much work that would take to make 5 more of those?"
yeah. They don't know.
Yeah, no,
They don't
no
know.
idea.
Our big box stores we've talked about it on here before on the podcast, if, like, big box stores have kind of ruined people's expectations
Yeah,
for all sorts of things. Like, they expect a quilt to be, like, $20.
yeah, and the same day shipping and all of that thing as well.
Right.
It's reduced people's patience.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's really frustrating. It's really, really frustrating.
yeah.
Although I think in the UK, like your big box, quote unquote, big box stores are definitely not like American big box stores. So I feel like there's a little bit of a difference, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we have like the equivalent of like Walmart and
Yeah,
all of those types of places. But they do carry the same sort of quantity of different items, just not the sheer quantity of each item.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
one
That's
thing I
very true.
noticed when we went to Walmart when we were over at QuiltCon. It was like, why is there like 400 feet of tins of soup?
Yeah, it's a little outrageous. Although I do like going to the Tesco. I love going to Tesco while I'm over there.
Yeah,
Which y'all are like, it's every day for us. Thanks.
yeah,
I don't know. It's just it's so fun to walk around for me to walk around to Tesco and be like, "Ooh, look at all these wonderful things."
yeah.
I don't know. I'm strange like that. But anywho. Speaking of QuiltCon, it was great to meet you at QuiltCon. Was that a fun experience for you coming to America and walking around? Because that was your first time going, correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was the first time in the US. Yeah, it was incredible. If the funny thing, literally within about a day and a half of being there, the pair of us looked at each other and went, "We could live here." Specifically, Phoenix.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was just
Phoenix is a
the
nice area.
yeah, it is stunning because we did a lot of traveling around Phoenix as much as we could outside
Hmm.
of QuiltCon sort of constraints, and it was unreal. It's just so
Yeah,
vast.
it is. It really is. What was your favorite thing about QuiltCon?
I think a lot of it was just the people.
Yeah.
Meeting people that you've spoken to and that you've seen and that you've interacted with in different ways, and then being like, ah, you're not just an Instagram picture.
You're a full human being. You're not just
Yeah,
a headshot the whole time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's really funny as well. Like you have these sort of like preconceived ideas of how tall people are going to be, and then you see them in real life, and you're like, oh, I thought you'd be like 12 inches taller, or that you wouldn't be as tall. It's just really odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that perception thing.
Yeah, it's hard to get a sense of how tall people are from that screen and
Yeah,
stuff like that. So yeah.
yeah. And I look miniature compared to most people in the photos that I've got from QuiltCon.
I wasn't gonna say that. I wasn't gonna I will say when I met you, I'm like, "Oh, he's a little bit shorter than I thought he
Yeah,
was." I am 6'2", so I do tend to tower over a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people are shorter than I am. And I don't even recognize the height, like,
yeah.
difference, and I really didn't even notice it until there was one specific photo with my family back in, like, high school, I think it was, where I stood next to my family and I saw how much taller that I was compared to the rest of the family, and I'm like, "Oh, I am tall.
Yeah,
I am pretty tall." But no, it
yeah.
was great to meet you at QuiltCon, and I'm glad I finally got to meet you in person, and I'm glad that you got to come over and drive in your F-150 and go to Taco Bell.
Yes. It had to be done. It was like the things that when we got there, we were like, we have to go to Taco Bell, we have to hire a pickup truck, we have to go to Target, and we have to go to Walmart. And we hit Walmart within an hour of landing
Oh my gosh.
because we were like, we need some snacks for the Airbnb.
That's true. I mean, that's fair. That's definitely fair. Was going to Walmart an I mean, we talked a little bit about, 400
Yeah.
meters of canned soups, but like was it a completely different experience or like I'm just curious, pure curiosity.
Not really, no. Our sort of like big grocery stores here aren't quite as big, but they're not that dissimilar in a sense.
Yeah.
We've got ones that are sort of more. They class them as a more like local supermarkets, so they're still
Yeah.
big brand, but they're a smaller condensed version. But then our bigger sort of like extra stores, they call them, they're not far off the same size as like Walmart in Phoenix and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, everything's a lot more condensed, a lot smaller, a lot um
yeah,
those more local marts versus the Walmarts all over the place.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
Um
just not the same quantity of stock on the shelf.
oh yeah.
I couldn't
Yep.
get my head around that. Why there's like 65 cans of the same flavor. It's like how it's it's that thing. It's like right, okay, between opening and closing, are you really going to sell that many of one flavor of soup?
Nope.
No,
Nope. Nope.
especially in Phoenix where it's hot. I mean, who in Phoenix is buying soup?
That's a really good question. Actually, I hadn't thought about that. Who is buying soup?
Yeah,
I have some friends out there, and they can still go swimming like in December usually because
yeah,
it's still so warm, and it in like March or April, I think, is when their air conditioner starts running 24/7. Like it just doesn't stop because it's just so hot there. So I Phoenix is wonderful to visit. I couldn't do it. I couldn't live there.
yeah. It's a different kind of heat though. Like
It is
we've been to Egypt, and when we went to Egypt, it was like 49 one day, Celsius. Sorry, so like
Celsius. Yeah.
way over 100, way over 100.
Yes.
Um, and that was like you couldn't walk outside; your flip flops melted on the floor.
Yeah.
And even the Egyptians that worked at the complex that we were staying in, they were even complaining how hot it was,
Oh
and
my
they're used to
gosh.
it. But that was just a different kind of heat. Whereas Phoenix was
Yes.
quite, I think, because Phoenix is quite dry.
Yes.
You don't really get like super sticky or anything. It's just really hot, but it's quite
Yeah.
comfortable. But I
It
mean,
is.
we did go in the winter, so
Right. Yeah, it was like lower 80s while we were there
yeah,
in February, which was nice because I literally left DC when it was snowing. It was literally snowing as we're driving to the airport, and then we get into Phoenix, and it's like, oh, take off the jacket,
yeah,
short sleeves. Oh, this is nice. This is nice. Yeah, you're right. You're right though. It is a dry heat. It's not that muggy heat that you
yeah.
get in many places like Houston. DC even has a lot of muggy heat. So I think it is a big difference between, the muggy, yucky heat versus the drier
Mm,
heat and the
yeah.
mountains. I mean, the mountains are gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, because this is the thing, like everyone's like I talk to a lot of American friends and say like in the summer here when it gets hot, we're like me and friends and everyone that I know here, we cannot bear it because it
Yeah.
is just the most horrible, muggy, sticky heat. And what people don't seem to realize as well is that we basically don't have air conditioning in the UK.
Yeah.
So when it gets to like high 80s, the humidity is like 100% and it is so hot.
Yeah.
And our houses are
Yeah.
built to retain heat, so they just get hotter and hotter.
Ugh. I remember visiting my friends and being like, one of the first times I had gone to England and there not being air conditioning, and I'm like, "Why why don't y'all have AC?" And it's like, that's not a thing here in the UK really, like, it's not a thing, and so, having to open every window and having to
Yeah,
create as much circulation as possible, that's what you do.
yeah, yeah. We ended up with like a jet fan this year because it was so hot,
Yeah,
and it literally you can't hear over it. So you put it on to keep yourself cool, and you can't hear the TV.
yeah, and you have to wear, like, noise canceling headphones
Yeah,
everywhere, and you're just like, "Well, do I
yeah, it's
wanna
wild.
do I wanna be deaf or do I wanna be hot? I don't know which."
Yeah, funny.
Ugh. Well, you have a lot of Tula. You are definitely a Tula fan. I see, we are kindred souls, I feel like, with, all the Tula that you have. I'm curious, what is the first collection of Tula what is the first Tula fabric you buy? We won't even go with collection. What was the first Tula that you got, if you can remember?
So my first tuna that I was actually given a fat quarter of part of Curiouser, the Sea of Tears, in
Yeah.
the white colorway, the
Mhm.
white background. I was gifted that by someone, and I was like, "What is this?" It's Alice in Wonderland, which I'm crazy about Alice in Wonderland. It was like my gateway drug, basically. And I mean, our whole wedding was Alice in Wonderland themed. It was, yeah. So Alice in Wonderland has a big part of our life. And when I saw that, I was like, who is this incredible woman? And what is this fabric? And then I found a Tula Pink D-Stash group on Facebook in the UK.
Mhm.
And a lady was selling half bolts of the whole Curiouser collection because she needed to close her business down. And I was like, well, I'm just buying them all.
Wow.
So I went from one fat quarter to the whole line
Oh my gosh.
in about a week.
And not just the
And
whole
then
line, but have bolts of it too.
yeah, and then it just progressed from there at quite a rapid rate. Yeah, and now it's a whole like a whole wall of it,
Yeah. Oh, it's so
which is just
gorgeous. Oh my gosh.
crazy.
It's beautiful. I love that. It's just so pretty sitting on the shelves.
Yeah, but I do use
It's
it, so
yeah.
there is that. I do work
Yeah.
through it.
So,
Yeah.
what has been your favorite collection so far? I mean, it sounds like Alice in Wonderland, Curiouser and Curiouser is pretty high up there, but is that your number one favorite?
No, I see. My favorite, I'm really really torn between two, and that is Limework and Monkey Wrench.
Mm.
I kind of feel like if the Don't Slip Bananas from Monkey Wrench were incorporated into line work with a black and white monkey, then
Mhm.
it would be there'd be no beating that. But
I
then
love that.
grey work, I I think it's the most excited I've been about a line dropping
Yeah. I'm
because it
very
is
excited for that.
insane. Yeah,
Yeah, it's really good. I'm
yeah.
mad because I found Tula Pink around Monkey Wrench. So,
Oh, okay, so just before me then.
yeah, I
Yeah.
that's about the time that I found her, and, I was so upset because I really wanted those, the big 108 backings of
Yes.
bananas, and I never got it. I just came on in the tail end, and those had already sold out. So I'm really hoping at some point she'll do, her, Deja Vu line with it, so that way I can maybe finally get some of those big bananas, but I
Yeah.
that's the bananas is one of my favorites from her.
So I have about 1.5 yards of that backing, and that's it. And only got that recently actually, and I paid through the nose for it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad that I have it, and I bought it with the intention of covering because I have huge like homemade pressing board, which is
Mhm.
40. It's about 46 inches by about 22 deep,
Oh,
so I can
nice.
press the whole width of fabric on it.
Right.
Um, and I bought that back in because I always, whenever I recover it in quilt backing because it glides so well, being the sateen. So
Yeah.
things don't really stick to it, and your iron glides over it really nicely. Um, but I can't bring myself to use it. Seems so stupid because I thought that would be the perfect ironing station. Bananas everywhere.
Yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely. But, see, that's the thing is, like, I understand because you would use it, but after time it degrades and, like, the
yeah,
heat changes the colors and, like, it you have to replace it again, and so I could totally see, like, not wanting to use that because at some point you're gonna have to replace it again, so
yeah. I'd end up never using the ironing station.
Right, right,
Yeah,
exactly. I recently saw on, Tula's, Gray Work unboxing, she has some stools in her,
yes,
workshop that have that banana fabric on the seats
yeah,
for the cushions, and I'm every time I see it, I'm just like, "Ugh," it just hurts my heart because I can't bring myself to pay the ridiculous amounts that people want for it, which is deserved, like, it's out of print, I get it, but
yeah,
I can't bring myself to pay that much money for that fabric, so maybe
yeah.
one of these days I'll find it or, she'll do a deja vu with it, but for now, the elusive bananas are just gonna stay that way.
There is a thing about banana print fabric though, because I think it was Art Gallery or Figo, maybe one of the other ones. Another company did a banana print as well, and I managed to get some, and it's very close to Don't Slip, but it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on a
I
white
missed that.
background with yellow bananas, and it's really cute. And they're the same size scale as the bananas from. I even have
My
one
gosh.
here
Oh
because
my gosh.
it was like an offcut, and it was perfectly. And I can't bring myself to throw it away because it's a full banana, even though it's like literally less than 1 inch square.
Right.
So it just sits on my iMac base, so I can see there's a banana
Yeah.
there all the time.
I love that. When I was working on, the four-letter quilt that I have, um, that, I paper pieced, foundation paper pieced the four-letter word using the bananas, like the Gwen Stefani song. Um, I did try and fussy cut as many of the bananas into it as possible. So I was a little wasteful with it because I wanted to
Yeah,
frame those bananas in each piece as best as possible. But there's a couple of bananas that are perfectly framed within those cuts, and I just love the way that they get framed out. So I understand. I get it.
yeah. It's really weird because the actual illustration of them is they've got so much life in them
Mhm.
with the amount of detail that's actually in them. Yeah, I'm wondering. I She may do a redo of that because she did with the freefall backing, didn't she? For that's now gone
Yeah.
into the reorder catalog, so she might do
I'm hoping she does that one, and I'm also hoping that she does, handmade? I always get it wrong. Handmade,
homemade,
homemade? Yeah,
homemade. Yeah,
homemade. I really hope she does a deja vu with homemade because that one just it's so, s quintessentially sewing. Like, it just seems
yeah,
like an obvious choice that she would go for deja vu again. I hope.
yeah. I'd like to see that in a different colorway. That'd be really
Yeah,
interesting. I mean,
definitely.
the purple colorway of the homemade pedal to the metal sewing machines was pretty spot on.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you look at the new collection of Coral Reef, Floral Reef, sorry, I keep wanting to call it Coral Reef because coral in it as well. But
Yeah.
Floral Reef, there's a colorway of the one of the shell prints in it that is
Mhm.
identical colors to the color of the purple colorway of the homemade.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to look
Yeah,
closer at that.
it's almost exactly the same Pantones as the pedal to the metal.
I love that you just said Pantones, like, you know exactly like, so people may not know what Pantone is. Pantone is they're a company that kind of how do I describe it? They, like, have all the colors, and there's a system that they use to label each color with a code, so a lot of
It's like a
companies will
universal
use.
language for color, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's a universal language for colors, and so a lot of companies will be like Pantone 13924, whatever it is, you know? And a
Yeah.
lot of times Pantone also comes out with a color of the year, and they will say, "Oh, this is gonna be the most prevalent color in 2025, 2026, whatever it's gonna be." And a lot of companies buy onto that, and they'll actually, like, pay Pantone to get early access to that color so that way they can start making all the things in that color. It's a
Mm.
weird. It's it's wild.
Yeah. Did you ever manage to get any of the Renaissance ribbon of the bananas?
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not really a fan of ribbon. I don't use it. I don't use it. I don't really like you. You actually sent me a piece of it, and I have it sitting on my uh cork board basically. It's or
Yeah.
pegboard. It's sitting on my pegboard, and I look at it, and I'm like, it's so pretty. I don't want to do anything with it.
Yeah. It's really, really good to stitch onto some webbing and make into keychains
Oh, I
because then you
didn't
get
think
to
about that.
enjoy it and you don't really. It's something that's universal and you see every day and it just brings you joy and it's something that you can sort of relate back to even if you're not
Yeah.
at home quilting.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that. I may have to do that. You sent me some wonderful things. Thank you, by the way. I really
Oh, you're
appreciate you
welcome.
sent me like some of the sewing machines, and you sent me a really nice care package, and I loved it. And I several things are sitting where I can just see them and just look at them and be like, ah, it's pretty.
Well, that's like my sneaker kit I made from the bananas.
Yeah.
And it's got the banana ribbon on the heel and
Oh,
on
that's
the
cool.
it holds the laces in place.
Oh, that's such a great idea.
So there are weird ways of using it,
Yeah.
but these I can't bear to wear because I don't want to dirty them. I mean, how ridiculous.
Yes. It's every time I see people make quilted shoes, I'm just
Yeah.
like, I would never wear them. I
Yeah.
would like they would sit on a shelf and they would be look pretty, and
Yeah.
that's where they would stay.
My line work ones I have worn and I sprayed
Mm,
those with like 3M Scotch Guard type stuff.
yeah.
So they have
Did
a
that help?
kind of coating. Um I've never got them wet. So
Fair.
I don't know whether I don't think it would stop them soaking up that much water, but who knows?
Yeah.
I'm very careful about where I wear them.
Yeah, definitely. Is
Yeah.
that do you feel the same way like the chair that you're sitting in, do you like are you very gentle with it, or like do you kind
I
of
was
baby it
at
a little bit?
first, and now I'm just like, it's a chair, it needs to be sat on. It's like when a
Fair.
quilt goes from being like my 100-acre wood quilt that's been
Mhm.
folded up in a um, tote bag because I'm too scared to use it because it's got a lot of hand quilting on it, and I'm a bit worried that one of my dogs is going to catch it.
Oh yeah.
But in real sort of thinking about it, if it doesn't ever come out of that bag, then it's never going to get used.
Yeah.
And I'm like one of the first people to say, make quilts, use your quilts, don't put them on a shelf.
Yeah.
But that one is, yeah, I've kind of fallen into my own trap with that one. It's been there for like the best part of a year now.
We definitely want quilts to be used, but there are definitely quilts that I guard and protect, and I'm like, no, no, we're not going to use that one. It's going to go XYZ. So yeah, I
Yeah.
feel that. I have a Halloween quilt that a friend of mine did some custom quilting on,
Mm.
and I it's a little bit too small for me to actually use. I mean, if it was here on the couch, I could probably use it, but it's not one that would really cover me up. It's for me, it's more of a Halloween display. Like I put it up on
Yeah.
in October, I'll put it up and have it on display versus actually using it because it to me it's more of a display item versus using. I don't know if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
But that's why I kind of always make quite big quilts.
Mm.
I've got a lot of smaller sort of like lap size and things like that, but I always just get cold feet hanging out the bottom of them. And then I'm just like, well, this kind of defeats the object of it being something that's supposed to like comfort you and keep you warm if you
Yeah.
can't actually cover yourself over with it.
Yeah, I tend to make my quilts, even if they're a smaller quilt, I tend to add on and make them bigger because
Yeah.
it's gonna be better for me
Yeah.
to keep myself warm and everything.
Yeah. I've got a lot that have got like 6-inch borders of the background fabric just to make them that bit bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of big quilts, you just sent a Tula Pink quilt over to her, a
Yes.
pixel Tula Pink
Yeah.
quilt that is huge. You gave me a sneak peek before it was ever public knowledge. Uh,
Yeah.
and I didn't quite realize how big it was until I
Oh, it's
saw her.
enormous.
How big is that quilt?
um, I think it's 79 by 96
Oh wow.
or something like that. It's enormous.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I was adding the last row, and it's actually too tall for the height of our ceilings in our houses. So I couldn't actually get the whole quilt from floor to ceiling in a picture
Yeah.
because the bottom of the quilt sort of draped across the floor. But I did get to the last row and think, does she really need like more shoulder space? Because it took so long to put together. I was just like, should I just leave off the last bit? But then she had the picture I used, she had that snake serpent design on her top. And I thought,
Right.
well, it kind of cuts off most of her shirt that she's wearing if I don't put the last row on. And I
Yeah.
would have felt like,
Definitely.
it's that thing, isn't it? When you think, no one else will know, but I know that I've not finished it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. What inspired you to do that?
Do you know, so Dee from Pixel Quilt, whose
Hmm.
software I use to actually generate the pattern, it was kind of her that inspired me really because I've been following her for a long time and I met her at QuiltCon and I've met her at Festival of Quilts.
Yeah.
And for anyone that doesn't know Dee from Pixel Quilt, she is one of the kindest, loveliest human beings you'll ever meet. Um, and a lot of her pixel quilts she's made for people, especially females, that she's found inspiring. And I kind of thought, well, I get a lot of my inspiration from Tula's fabrics. I think she's one of the most incredible artists of our time in terms of illustrators and different things. And I just
Yeah.
thought, well, it kind of just makes sense for if I'm going to do one to sort of follow on the trend of what made Dee make pixel quilts in the first place.
Hmm.
So yeah, I just had this
Absolutely.
wild idea and I messaged Cam and said, look, if I was to make this, what is the chance of me actually being able to get it to her?
Yeah.
And Cam is awesome. He was just like, look, we don't normally do gifts. We don't really normally accept them because so many people want to. I mean, understandably.
Sure.
I mean, Tudor's got a huge following. So many people really love what she does. Quilters are some of the most generous people you'll ever meet. So the fact that they probably get asked all the time if they can gift something to her.
Yeah.
Um, and he kind of said, look, we'll make an exception.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
and I
really
sent him
cool.
the forehead, basically like a picture of the forehead of Chula, and said she's got a forehead at the moment, but this is kind of where I'm going with the project. Yeah,
Wow. That's awesome. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about like how many people probably ask and how many people actually don't ask and like just send stuff to her. Like there's no way
yeah,
that she'd be able to eh, manage all of that and have all of those gifts coming in. So that's really special that they let you do that. And you are now a part of her Tula archives, which is
yeah,
amazing.
which is wild. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that was something that kind of that come up quite a lot on social media. A lot of people commented on my post and said, "Oh, I can't believe it's gone into a cupboard." And I was like, "That's Trudeau's archive." I was like, "That's like one of the wildest places that I ever thought one of my quilts would end up." So I
Yeah.
am more than happy with that.
Yeah, it was really interesting because she opened it on, or she posted the video of it on Instagram, or Cam or her team, whoever, posted it on
Yeah,
Instagram of her opening it up and seeing it for the first time and her reaction to it in real time. And then
yeah,
they showed it getting folded up and put into her Tula archives with all of the other quilts that have come out with the different collections. First of all, like, can we talk about that archive of quilts? Like, I don't think she's shown that on social media before, so that was amazing seeing those quilts all folded up in a
yeah. There's
climate
so
controlled
many as
room.
well.
Yes. I
Yeah,
was blown away with how many there was.
yeah. And all the bags around the top as well from all the different collections as well from the bags that go with the launch of the new lines. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
wild. It's wild, and it is wild to think that it's in there.
Yeah, right, and I can see why now she needed that new space that she recently built in order to, facilitate
Yeah.
the archives and facilitate all the things that go along with the different collections. I can't even imagine where she was storing that in her current home. Because
Yeah.
we do get a view of one room in that old house that she was in, and now seeing it moved over into the new one is pretty awesome. I'm very happy for her, and I think she's getting more space to be able to archive and keep some really cool things around.
I think it is the dream studio, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
I would live in Cam's office, survive with that little kitchen, and have
yes,
a studio that size if I was able to here.
yeah,
That would be my
absolutely.
ideal house.
100%. 100%. And those sliding design walls,
Yeah.
genius idea.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
super envious. I'm like, man, that's what I need right there.
But even in the sense that of being able to display finished items as well,
Mhm.
it would be so handy to because you'd be able to swap them out seasonally, like you were saying with your Halloween quilt. When
Yep,
starts getting towards Halloween, you could put your Halloween ones up, and you
absolutely.
still have sliding walls free to design on.
Yep, that's the dream. Someday. Someday
Yeah,
when I win the lottery and can just focus 100% on just quilting and sewing.
yeah, it would be awesome.
It would be. It would be. So sewing is your kind of main passion right now. Um But outside of sewing, do you have any other hobbies that you enjoy doing, or what does life look like for Adam?
Well, I used to so up until recently, I did have a part-time job as well. I used to do sort of like a delivery driver role,
Yeah,
um, and have done that for many years. Um, Mainly because after leaving school, I actually qualified as a hairstylist. So I am a fully qualified hairstylist. I did that for about best part of 15 years, um,
wow.
and then kind of got to a stage in my hair career where I just kind of lost interest to a certain degree because it kind of becomes, I suppose it's a bit like with anything, like you were saying earlier about creating tote bags to sell. You kind of get to a point where something you was like really sort of excited about and enjoyed doing then becomes quite mundane.
Yeah,
Um, so I kind of just we moved away from we used to live a lot closer to London town centre, sort of on the west end of London. And when we moved further away to the countryside as well, it was kind of a bit like, right, okay, well, we're going to have to leave our jobs because we can't do that commute every day. Um, and it was at that point where I was kind of getting to the point where I thought, I don't really want to do hair anymore. What do I want to do? And my husband had got another job with this um, driving company. And I was just like, I just they needed another driver. The driver that they'd actually employed left after 4 days, so they were kind of stuck with a vacancy and no one to fill it. And I said to my husband, I was like, "Oh, I'll just do it. Just tell them I'll do it," sort of thing. And then I got stuck in this sort of like cycle of being a van driver basically for the best part of about 7 years. And then recently, the company sort of changed over hands. That got bought out by a much larger company. And my role was swallowed by someone that drives much larger vehicles. So they were like, we don't actually need you anymore. And I was
yeah,
just like, right, okay, fine. I'm just going to do my own thing then. So for the last, yeah, so for about a month now, I've been solely doing my sort of sewing jam and just kind of trying to work out where life's heading really.
yeah. Do you hope to take this on full time now and do design and sewing and whatnot, or do you think at some point you'll end up kind of going back into either part time or full time or whatever ends up happening?
Yeah, I mean, so I've kind of set myself a sort of deadline of sort of February next year. I need to be either knowing that I've got some sort of stability from what I'm doing at the moment, or at that point, then I will take on some sort of part time role to sort of fund everything.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. That's the
it's just a
hardest
case of
part.
seeing what happens.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's been a few times that I'm like, "Can I quit my daytime job and do this full time?" And then I'm like, "Nope. Nope, I cannot. I like my health insurance. I like the income that I'm making. That helps fund the daytime job, funds all of the fun, sewing and quilting time. So, maybe many years down the road, maybe I can look into that. But right now I'm also really happy where I'm at. So that
Yeah,
helps in being able to have that full-time job and be able to do this as a hobby. So it is what it is. But I'm excited to see where you end up landing and where you end up going. And you're coming out with, it looks like, some really awesome patterns and stuff as you're moving forward. I still love that little it I don't it's not an acorn bag. I know it's not acorn shaped, but you made that kind of backpack, small
yeah,
bag, and
yeah.
it's
It's
very
the
cute.
Acorn backpack. Yeah, it's hanging
Oh,
on.
it
I think
is.
it's hanging on my it's hanging on my door. The one that I took to
Yeah, there it is.
Phoenix. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Acorn backpack. Yeah, that's done really well actually. I'm really proud of that pattern.
you should be. It's really cute in person, super cute. And how did you go about designing that? Because again, I like two-dimensional things. That worked with my brain really well. How did you kind of work on forming that three-dimensional bag?
So that was quite a funny one actually. The Acorn backpack probably went through the most sort of different changes throughout the actual design process. The initial design for that was so convoluted and it was just horrendous. And I made a sample of it in just like bare foam, which is what I tend to do with anything that's a little bit more tricky. I just scrap the idea of making it from quilted fabric and just make it from foam scraps. Um, because the foam is what gives it the shape. So it's just easier just to work from that. Um, and it was actually pieced together like in orange segments.
Okay. All
So
right.
it was a flat panel on the back, and then it was originally pieced together in about, I think it was about 16 orange segments to actually have the actual shape of like a half acorn cut in half.
Yeah.
And it looked really cool, but I was like, no one is going to want to make this because it was horrible. It was just a really stupid concept. I mean, it would have been fine if it was one of those things that you was only making one of, and it was to go in a show or something like that. But
Right.
for it to be sort of commercially viable for people to actually want to go, oh, I want to make that. I'd like to make one of those myself. No one would have wanted to make it because there were so many components. It was like literally like trying to stitch together a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle.
Oh my
It just
gosh.
didn't make sense. So I kind of actually that one once I'd made the prototype of the one that was made up from a million pieces, I put it to one side and I was like, no one's going to make that. And then Free Spirit asked me if I wanted to be a guest creator on Full Moon Forest. Was it Full Moon Forest? Yeah, it must have been Full Moon Forest. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
because it's made in Full Moon Forest. And at that point, I was like, there's a squirrel. What do squirrels eat? Acorns and nuts. And I was like, the acorn has to come back. So I was thinking about it again. Actually, when I was doing quite a long drive to somewhere that I was going, I was in the car for quite a few hours, and I thought, why am I making this so difficult? And I suddenly thought, I can literally just make the actual shape of the bag the outline of an acorn, if like as you was to draw it.
Right.
Um, and then I just had this brainwave, and I was like, well, that's a lot simpler, and it's actually viable for people to make. Yeah, and then I was like, well, if it's going to have the branch manager from Full Moon Forest. And then when my Free Spirit pre-release fabric turned up and it had branch manager in it, I was like, yeah, right, okay, that is the fabric for that.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's such a cute bag. I saw it in person at QuiltCon, like you said, and it's such a cute bag, and it looks, especially with Full Moon Forest. I think that was a perfect choice for that one for sure.
Yeah. I made the prototype in Tiny Beasts with the squirrels.
Mm, yep.
Yeah. But a
Perfect.
friend of mine that tested it for me during the testing process, about 3 weeks after she'd made it, she sent me a message. She said, this bag is so useful. And she'd been on a park run that morning, and then she'd stopped at a grocery store on the way home. And she had a couple of reusable tote bags, but she bought more shopping than she had room for in the bags. And she ended
Yeah.
up carrying a honeydew melon home in her acorn backpack. And she was
Oh
like,
my
it
gosh.
fits a melon. She was like, "How does such a small backpack fit a melon?" I mean, it
It
wasn't like a watermelon, obviously, but it was. I think it
no,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
a yeah. So she was really impressed. She was like, "It holds a melon."
That's pretty funny, and I love that. It's deceptively bigger then because, like, when I saw it in person, it does look like a smaller bag, but that's amazing that you could fit a melon in it. Wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. A lot of my friends have made it for their young children as well for school backpacks.
Oh yeah,
Because
that's a perfect little
if you
bag.
just shorten the straps a little bit, they're literally
Yeah.
the perfect size backpack for a child.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm getting ready to tackle the Leader of the Pack by Annie by Annie for
Yeah,
a
yeah.
backpack. Definitely definitely doing kind of a prototype first. I with by Annie bags, I tend to like make one first with
Yeah.
maybe fabric that I wouldn't be so upset about if it didn't work out the way I thought it would.
Yeah.
And then make it again as the real bag. But yeah, that's such a cute. That acorn bag is very cute, is what I'm trying to say. I can't talk today apparently, which is bad for a podcast. But hey, here we are. So, anywho,
Yeah, Leader of the
oh my
Pack's quite
goodness,
big, isn't it? That's the
yeah,
biggest one that she's done. Yeah.
yep,
Yeah. They're quite good. If you're going to make a prototype, if I've made prototypes in the past, I've used fusible fleece because it works out a lot cheaper. If you're not
yeah,
bothered about it being that usable.
right, right. I think I'm gonna give it to a friend, and so like he's not going to care if it's not perfect.
Yeah.
He may not even notice that I messed up in places, but I'm making it out of some like Halloween fabric, so that way, when I give it to him, he'll enjoy it, and so that way I can learn from the mistakes on the first one, and I have enough fabric that if I mess up something, I can more than likely recut it. Not, you know, there won't
Yeah.
be too many issues, so it should be fine.
Yeah.
Do you
They're
do
very
do you do a
methodical,
lot of
though.
prototype? Oh, I'm so sorry. Say it again.
They're very methodical bags, though. The
Yes.
instructions are like, right, we're going to do this bite sized chunk, and then we're going to put it to one side and we're going to work on this bit.
Yep.
So, yeah, they are
Yep.
great.
I like the patterns. They hurt my brain, but I always end up finishing them, and I may cuss them out and set them in timeout, but I always come back and finish them out. So,
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
you talked a little bit about prototyping the acorn bag. Do you do a lot of prototyping, or is it pretty like, are you kind of dive in and go?
So it depends on the type of bag. So some of them, um, the the pouchy pots pattern that I've got, which I actually use quite a lot of them in my room. These are really easy. They came together like spot on the first one that I ever made. And some patterns do. Some I will just go, right, okay, I'm going to make a version of that. And sometimes it comes together and I don't have to make any pattern adjustments whatsoever. And I've got my measurements right, all my seam allowances right, and so on. And then there's others where I make them 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And then normally I look at the pattern and I go, why did I think that number was the best number to put there? And then I realized straight away that it should have been 23 inches rather than 24.5 inches. And I've given myself an extra inch and a half of fabric that I'm never going to be able to ease into anything.
Right.
So, yeah.
Hey, but the good thing with that is you can always cut off more than adding on.
Yes. Yeah. If it's overestimated, it's better.
Yes. I
Yeah.
always overestimate everything just to make sure that I have that that margin of error in case I
Yeah.
need it. So yeah.
Yeah. So it just depends on which pattern it is, really. Some of them
Yeah.
just go together absolutely perfect first time. And I think, woo, there we go.
It must be nice. Must be nice when
Yeah.
that happens because I rarely have that happen. Adam, it's been great having you today. Are you ready for our So Speedy rapid fire round?
I think so, yes.
All right, Adam, here we go. What is the smallest quilted project you've made so far?
Probably a wall hanging that's about 12 by 18.
Okay. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Australia.
Good choice. I like that one. Do you like scrappy quilts or more planned out ones?
Planned. Yeah.
It's that control.
Yeah.
I feel that. I feel that. Which season is your favorite to sew in? Obviously not summer.
Spring.
Do you keep your fabric folded neatly or in a happy mess?
It's folded neatly.
I was going to say behind you kind of
Yeah.
answers that question. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Oh, pistachio.
Oh. Do you like to follow quilt patterns or make it up as you go?
If it's a quilt, I prefer a pattern.
Fair enough. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
A fly. You'd have to fly. It's a given.
Do you prefer bright colors or muted tones in your quilts?
Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of self-explanatory.
Think so too, but for the record, bright colors.
Yeah.
For those listening on the podcast. By the way, definitely come check out the YouTube video so you can see all the colors that he's got behind him. What is your dream vacation spot?
Probably America.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Taco Bell, man. Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Have you ever made a quilt as a gift?
Yes.
Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
What's the trickiest block you've ever tried so far?
Christopher Robin.
Oh. Definitely. Do you collect anything outside of fabric?
Probably sewing machines. Don't really want to admit to it.
You do have one or two, don't you?
Yeah.
What kind of batting do you prefer, cotton, poly, or whatever's around?
Oh, so I really like the Hellon Legacy 8020 with the screw because it's really stable and fluffy.
It is. It is nice. I do like
Yeah.
it. If you could switch lives with a fictional character for a day, who would it be?
Ooh. Oh, that's a good one. Someone with I'm trying to think now. Someone that's got loads of money and doesn't have to say no to anything. So like Richie Rich or someone like that. You can just do whatever you wanted for the day.
Fair enough. Do you sew more in the morning, afternoon, or late at night?
Probably more in the afternoon.
Okay. What's your favorite childhood toy or game?
Oh, I had this weird bear that sung this go to sleep song.
Okay.
That my parents actually gave it back to me the other day because they've just moved house recently and found it. And it's been in storage for the best part of 25 years. And it still works, which is kind of creepy.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What is your guilty TV show or series or movie?
Kath and Kim.
Say that again?
Kath and Kim. It's
I don't know that one.
Oh, you need to watch it. It's on Netflix. It's an Australian comedy. It is so stupid, but so funny.
All right. I'll check into that one. You have added something to my list now. Thank you. If your sewing space had a mascot, what would it be?
Probably a Boston Terrier.
I figured that's the direction you were going to go in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fair enough.
She's on my new stickers now.
Yeah. And I think I see a dog bed behind you as well. So
Yeah, made from Tula Pink Minky.
Yep. I was like, I think that's her spot right there.
Yeah.
Well, you survived. You made it. You did it. Adam, it's been great talking to you today. Thank you for taking the time to come on the podcast and chat with everybody. If people want to find you online, where can they find you?
So I am on Instagram, YouTube, and I am on TikTok, but I do not really know how it works. And I'm at AdamSews on all of the platforms.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't know how TikTok works either. I jump on there sometimes and I push buttons and things happen.
Yeah.
Like, what does this do? Oh, I didn't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Oh
a
man.
minefield.
Yeah, it really is. Really, really is. Adam, thank you again for joining me today. And for everybody listening, thank you for being here and listening to the podcast. We'll be back again soon. Becca will be joining me again as well. So look for her on the next episode. And thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.